Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to the live watch-along of the Scarlets versus the Dragons. It's been an interesting weekend, we've got to say, looking at the Rainbow Cup and the first round games we've seen so far. So before we get into the teams and we start having a little look at today's game, I thought we'd have a little look back at the results from across the weekend so far. So in the first games of the weekend on Friday night, we saw Ulster and Connacht scoring a wonderful try at the end to take the result there. Interesting for Ulster, seeing as they've got themselves a semi-final of Europe coming up shortly, and went with quite a strong side. So an interesting result there. Very well done to Connacht. Second up, we had Edinburgh against Zebra, and Edinburgh just about managing to overcome the Italian sides by 24 points to 18. Then we moved across to Saturday's games, and for me, the result of the weekend so far, where we saw Benetton Rugby win by 46 points to 19 over Glasgow. Considering that in the league this year, Benetton didn't win a game at all, that has to be a massive step forward for them. Huge result and huge confidence moving forward in this tournament. Then we moved across to, sadly, the result of the weekend that hurt the most for me. Okay, the Ospreys overcoming the Cardiff Blues by 36 points to 14. And like we can see in the picture there, a bit of unfortunate news in that game that George North had to be carried off by the physios, and it looked like quite a nasty injury. So we're waiting to see some more news on that as we see whether George North will be fit for the summer, where he would have been hoping to go on a Lions tour. And then the final game of yesterday saw Munster overcome Leinster by 27 points to 3 at the RDS. A lot of squad rotation for Leinster, seeing as they have their European semi-final against La Rochelle coming up very shortly. But a great result nonetheless for Munster, finally getting one over on their Irish counterparts. So they were the games that we saw yesterday, and obviously we're leading into this final game today where the Scarlets take on the Dragons. So good opportunity really for both sides to really throw some things together and to see what they can get out of these games. So just before the teams, just are going in now, if we just see the teams are going in. So we'll have a little look at the team lineups for today, starting with the home side in the Dragons. So Dragons have gone with Greg Bateman, Taylor Davis and Chris Coleman in the front row. Young Ben Carter, a fantastic upcoming prospect for the Dragons, locking out with Joe Maximu. And then the back row of Ross Moriarty, Tane Basham, and Aaron Wainwright. A back row which, towards the tail end of the season, really did give the teams they played against at the Pro 14 some real problems. Captain and in the side then from 9 is young Rodri Williams, and outside of him would be Sam Davis. A nice partnership that those two are building moving forward into next season. We move into the back line then. In the centres, we have Aneurin Owen and Jared Rosser, who has turned into a little bit of a utility back for the Dragons. He's playing in quite a few different positions, so I'm quite liking the look. And Aneurin Owen looks like he's been building really, really well with the likes of Jamie Roberts around him for support. The back three then consists of Rio Dyer, Jonah Holmes, and Jordan Williams. A really exciting back three and lots of tries in there. Jonah Holmes especially finding his try-scoring form towards the tail end of this season. In the replacements then, that leaves Rhys Lawrence, Josh Reynolds, Aaron Jarvis, Matthew Screech. Interestingly enough, there's some rumours going around that he could potentially be heading down to the Cardiff Blues ahead of next season, but at the moment that is just speculation. Dan Baker, the former Osprey, Dan Babos, Evan Lloyd, and Jack Dixon. And then we move across to the away side. The visitors this afternoon, the Scarlets, have gone with a relatively strong lineup as well, you have to say. So Rob Evans making his first appearance back into the Scarlet side for a while after injury. Good to see him back, locking out that front row with Ryan Elias and Alex Jeffries. Jake Ball partners Morgan Jones in the second row. Obviously, Jake Ball leaving at the end of the season, but Morgan Jones very much being a prospect to look at as we move towards the future. In the back row then, the Scot that is Blade Thompson is in the back row with Yestin Rees and Uza Kasim. Really has been a talisman for the Scarlets this season. And then the back line then, the young halfback pairing of Sam Costello and Dane Blacker. Really like the look of Sam Costello, and he's definitely going to be one to watch out for in the future months. In the centres, that leaves Jonathan Davis and Tyler Morgan, a mouth-watering centre partnership. And Jonathan Davis will really be hoping to find some form now with Lions selection just around the corner. And the back three then consists of Steph Evans, Tom Rogers, and Johnny McNichol. Good to see him back to full fitness and available for selection. We move down to the bench. We have Dav Hughes, Stephen Thomas, Werner Krier, Lewis Rollins, Carwyn Tuipulotu. I'm looking forward to see how he goes today, having not seen a lot of the youngster and how he plays at the moment. Kieran Hardy, the Welsh international, back from the hamstring injury we saw him pick up against England. Angus O'Brien and Steph Hughes, who arguably has been the standout player for the Scarlets this year, being that player that brings them all together. So there are the sides. Going into this one, I think it is quite even pegging, considering whenever you have a Welsh derby, both sides will always pick themselves up that little bit further. But for me, I fancy the Scarlets for this one. I just think that they've got a really, really nice style of rugby that they're building at the moment. And with the exciting news, which we'll talk about just shortly. So we've just gone to the ad break now, just before the game starts. Before we get into the game, though, thank you very much for joining us if you're here this afternoon. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure to like and follow the page. Recently, this week, we hit over 100 followers on the page, which is really, really great to see. And thank you very much for all your support. If you're watching over on YouTube, make sure to like the stream. Really, really helps us out. And make sure to subscribe while you're there as well. Last night, we had 22 subscribers. And a big push now. I'm going to see if we can try and hit 50 subscribers by the time the Lions play the first test in the summer. So a couple of weeks to go yet until that happens. But that's what I'm aiming for, 50 subs by the first test for the Lions this summer. So let's have a little look at some of your comments just before we get into the game. Good to see you, Helen. If you need my expertise, give me a shout. As long as you're not wearing your Crocs, it's absolutely fine by me. Sean O'Farrell, I do feel sorry for us from Scarlets. Playoffs for the previous season get scrapped for this, and it's a Pro 14 series. Couldn't agree with you more there, buddy. Couldn't agree with you more. Leinster were more focused on the semi-final with La Rochelle and had their B team, but well done to Munster for it. Like we said, that there was always going to be that element of shuffling around for Leinster because they've got a really important game coming up. And I didn't think that they would take this game overly seriously, but at the same time, it would have been nice to see that opportunity for Leinster to pick up another potential trophy this season, because it just seems that they're just this unstoppable machine at the moment. Interesting, though, for the Scarlets, news coming out this week. I did a video on my channel. If you haven't watched it yet, it is live over on YouTube, where I looked at the big breaking news involving the Scarlets this week, in that Dwayne Peel has signed on the dotted line and has become the head coach ahead of next season. Really, really interesting. Obviously, was not even rumoured to be with the Blues. He'd signed on the dotted line. He was signed as the Cardiff Blues attack coach. But as you can imagine, with any young coach or any aspiring coach, he's always going to want to try and aim for higher and do better with his career. So he's decided to take up this head coach role with the Scarlets. Also, Glenn Delaney moving upstairs to a more senior role as the director of rugby. So be interested to get your thoughts down in the chat. Obviously, the full video that I did is over on the YouTube channel, so make sure you head over there and watch that one, where I talk all the way through the timeline of events that happened, right the way from the time that he signed at the Blues until the present moment now. So with a few minutes just before kickoff, I wonder where this one's going to go. Get your predictions down in the comment section. We'll get the conversation going as this afternoon goes through. Good to see a couple of you here already, but keep your comments coming, keep the chat coming, and let's hope for an excellent afternoon of rugby. As per usual, Premier Sport is working wonderfully this afternoon, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to actually be able to watch the game. But there we are. That's just what we've come to expect with Premier Sport over the last couple of weeks or so. I just have to watch it now, I think. So, yes, 4 of you in. Great to see you guys. Okay. I'll just get my game up here. I have to watch it on my phone today now because can't seem to get it up on the TV. So, yeah, they're just going through the teams now. Dean Ryan has got a really settled look with his side now down at the Dragons. I really like the way they built towards the end of the season. They were showing just now in the build-up to the game some of the rugby they played against the likes of Glasgow and against Ulster in patches. Be really interesting to see if they can push on from that now and to start to establish themselves, not as the best region in Wales, but they definitely need to start competing more on the levels that they've shown they can over the last few weeks. Sean, you've got Scarlets by 7. I think I'll agree with you on that one, buddy. I think derbies are always quite close games anyway, but wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if this one is quite close and the Scarlets just start to take it at the end. But the Scarlets are just on their way out of the dressing room now and heading out onto the luscious green turf down at Rodney Parade on this glorious spring afternoon. This is just a watch-along, guy. This is just a watch-along. I can't actually stream the game due to copyright laws, but I will talk you through the game and give my honest opinion and reflection as the game goes on. Camera focusing in on Rob Evans. They're really, really good to see him back. And hopefully this is the start of him building back towards getting himself involved with that Welsh setup, which he did so well all those few seasons ago. Roger Williams leads the Dragons out onto the pitch now in their black strip. Really, really interesting to see how they go today. Ross Moriarty, they're looking in pretty good nick at the moment, you've got to say, for him. He's really found his form now down at the Dragons. And although he's not currently in Welsh contention with a potential summer tour to Uruguay and Argentina, it's definitely something he would look to get onto if he possibly could. Aaron Wainwright as well, another player mentioned. A couple of people and a couple of articles I'm reading today looking potentially he could be a Lions bolter, considering that his versatility across the back row. For me, I don't quite see it, considering the other options that Gatland will have available to him. But we never know, it could be a player that gets called up, especially, Gatland liked him a lot whilst he was in charge at Wales and give him a real good opportunity towards the end of his tenure as Welsh head coach. We're just having a moment silent here for a young player who... So the referee blows his whistle and we are just about to start here. So we've got Sean thinks the Scarlets by 7. Get your opinions down in the chat, guys. Love to see what you think's going to happen in this game. Sean, you must be worried with how the Scottish sides have played from the previous season and this Rainbow Cup. Yeah, you've got to say the Scottish sides this year have really, really struggled to find any sort of form and to find any sort of continuity within the tournament. I don't know what it is down to. I know that Glasgow, had quite a large number of players that were injured or unavailable to be selected for the game. But even so, that doesn't explain... if you look at the result against Benetton haven't won a game all season, and yet they managed to stick 40 points on them. But we are underway here. Scarlets playing from right to left in this first half, and they claim the kickoff early on. Seems like the sun was getting in the Scarlets' eyes there, and the Dragons get into their phase play early on, going through the forwards and starting to make inroads into that Scarlets defence. Interested to see how Jonathan Davis goes, and mentioned just now. Really do think that he has got a lot to prove in this next couple of weeks if he's got any ideas of going on the Lions tour in the summer. Good choke tackle, it looks like, here from the Scarlets. The Dragons are going to try and get this out the best they can. But, yeah, no option. They're not moving anyway. So scrum down, Scarlets ball. Tyler Morgan being shown there. Lovely to see him back playing some of his best rugby. And found it really difficult down at the Dragons. Various injuries, various times spent on the sideline. But he is back now. And from what I've seen of him playing, I know that the Dragons got a good win towards the tail end of the season up in Edinburgh, which he featured in heavily. But we are packing down for our first scrum of the game. A nice mix of youth and experience in that Dragons front row. Greg Bateman coming back from Leicester Tigers, obviously last season. And then we're looking at the Scarlets front row, Rob Evans and Ryan Elias, big players within the Welsh setup at the moment, and players that will hope to get those jerseys back as we move forward. The scrum is cleanly taken away by Usman Kasim, though, and the Scarlets look to attack early on with a wide pass out to Tyler Morgan. Oh, unfortunately, their ball just going into touch. But the show of intent early on from the Scarlets. Glenn Delaney has often said, he loves his players to go out and express themselves, loves his players to go out and try and, play an open and exciting brand of rugby. And straight from the first opportunity there, Johnny McNichol looking to unlock the potentials out on the wings of Tom Rogers, I think that was. Yeah, but just couldn't get it. Always too high for him. And anyway, Jordan Williams had it covered. Interestingly, they're just showing Wayne Pivac and Gethin Jenkins there watching the game today. There's a few players I think that could well be putting their hand up for potential summer tours should they go ahead. By all understanding, the games are going ahead as yet, but we haven't had any confirmation as to what dates they're going to be taken down in Argentina and Uruguay, of all places. So, scrum here, Dragons ball. Looks pretty stable here. There's a real tussle going on the loose head side for the Dragons, but the Dragons are off and away. And Jordan Williams looking to offload up to the wing. Jonah Holmes in quite a lot of space, you've got to say there. Lovely little chip over the top into space. The bounce will be interesting here. Oh, very, very well covered by Tom Rogers there. Did really, really well there, the young man. Because there was a pack of Dragons hunting him down there. But Kasim looks to get the Dragons out of trouble, the Scarlets out of trouble, carrying hard from the 22. Trying to set themselves up a nice little position for a nice, sensible exit here and to relieve that pressure. Easy opportunity for the Dragons there, though. It just seemed to be an acre of space on the wide outside for Jonah Holmes to run into. And the box kick is in field. Jordan Williams has fielded it, tries to get those dancing feet moving, but stays down that 5-meter channel and looks to bring the forwards into play now. Ben Carter with a big carry, making a few meters there. Oh, bouncing ball again. Pass is not quite going to hand, it seems, early on in attack for both sides. Bit of a tussle going on at the breakdown here, but yep, Roddy Williams clearly gets that away to Maximu. And they've really done well, the Scarlets here. They've pushed the Dragons right back and they've forced them into slow ball. Moriarty carries so well. He's just one of those runners, I think, you don't see a lot of in rugby at the moment, is he never accepts the first hit. He never accepts that tackle. It's always on his terms and he's always fighting for every inch. I think the Dragons really should utilise the box kick in this first half because it does seem that the sun is right in the Scarlets players' eyes. There's 2 kicks that have gone up now and 2 kicks that the Dragons have fielded without competition, really. So it'd be interesting to see if they continue to use that as the first half goes on. But a nice little pass from Sam Davis to put Jonah Holmes around the outside. And we have our first try of the afternoon. Jonah Holmes with a lovely finish there. Sam Davis did really, really well there to draw the Scarlets defence onto him. Lovely little pass then to Jordan Williams, and it was a simple 2-on-1. And Jonah Holmes, the man for the Dragons at the moment, that just can't stop scoring. So that sees the first score of the game, 5-0 for the Dragons. They have looked good, and you've got to say that they really have looked to attack. But Jonah Holmes, that's for some reason Premier Sport are showing the chip and chase from about 4 minutes ago. But if we look back at the try, Sam Davis did really, really well just to hold up that ball and to look to launch that attack from just inside the Dragons' half. But fantastic, really, really good, and nice to see a try early on in this game. Jonathan Davis, nothing he could do there. Good pace from Jonah Holmes. Interesting thought with Jonah Holmes. I have to say I was a big fan of him at Leicester. But when he first came across to the Dragons, I don't think that he got the return that he would have wanted. But the way Dean Ryan has his side built now is they're playing really, really well. And regardless of however you look at this Dragon side at the minute, they are creating opportunities and obviously in this instance, finishing them off. So the conversion is missed by Sam Davis. So we have our first score of the game, 5-0 to the Dragons. Good take from the kickoff, but they've lost it. And Steph Evans goes up the wing. Tries to step inside, offload in, and another try. So straight from kickoff. What on earth is going on here? Great try there. Good pressure and perfect response. That's the first thing you would have wanted after conceding a try is to go off and score one of your own. So, yet again, that's one thing, though, that, in the modern game, you just don't want to see. You've just scored a try. You've built some really nice pressure, and then a simple mistake, and you are level again. Potentially could be going 2 points behind you. But lovely work there by Steph Evans on the outside. Didn't panic. Happy to take the ball into contact. Well marshalled by Moriarty, but they couldn't wrap that ball up, and it was a simple offload for the try to be scored. So Sam Costello lining this one up from right out on the left-hand touchline. Strikes it well, and it's a beauty. So the Scarlets take the lead, 7 points to 5. What a start. 7 minutes gone, 2 tries scored. Wow. So let's have a look at what you guys are saying in the comments. What do I think of captain's referral so far? I know the Blues used it right at the tail end of the game yesterday. I think it's really difficult because it's only one opportunity you get to speak to the referee. There is only that one chance you can use it. I don't really know. Obviously, the Blues got their decision overturned yesterday. I know there was one in the Ulster game which was ignored. Well, I say ignored, but it wasn't successful. And there was one in the Edinburgh game which was successful as well. But I think it's difficult to see at what time of the game you need to use it. Obviously, if it's a massive decision, like a red card or something like that, then perhaps bring it in then. But I'm undecided on it. I think we'd have to see it a little bit more in practice to decide what it looks like fully. But yeah, interesting that what we think of what do we think of all the rules in general? I know we didn't see the dropout yesterday, the try line dropout for being held up over the line. I think we've seen a captain's referral. We obviously haven't seen a red card as yet, or the orange card as it is, where a player can return after 20 minutes, but not the player that has received the card. But interesting. Helen, wow. Is that the reference to the Crocs, or is it reference to this wonderful game of rugby that we've got unfolding so far? Who knows? But Scarlets looked to attack again then, and they looked really, really sharp going down that left-hand side. Trying to stay in the shade as much as they can because it is a very, very sunny day down at Rodney Parade. And with the early kickoff, very little shadow for the players to have. But a good steady scrum here, and Roger Williams looked to launch from the base. And Iron Owen carrying well there into midfield. And the Dragons are looking to set to box kick here. It's a little bit too long. And like I said, with the sun in their eyes, it'd be something that the Scarlets will try their very best to defend the best they can. A massive kick by McNicholl straight up the middle of the field. Roger Williams looks to return with interest, and it is a kick for space. Steph Evans. Oh, no. Yeah, Steph Evans covering it well. The mullet is gone. And, a little bit of kick tennis going on here. Jordan Williams fielding that nicely. Looks to run straight away. He could be in a spot to bother you. Oh, well done there if the boys have got to that. Well done. Tane Basham picks up from the base and looks to find some space. And the Dragons going through their phase building play here now. Nice bit of quick ball there, but it seems to have slowed down. Sam Davis under a bit of pressure there, so we'll go back to the support of his forwards inside him. And they look to build again. Good carrying here from the Dragons, though. And, looks like we're setting up for the box kick again. Hope this doesn't become too much of a facet throughout the game. But good chase here on the outside from Rio Dyer, but collected well by Sam Costello. Really want to see him take his opportunity because I think at the moment down at the Scarlets, you've got the injury to Rhys Patchell, which I can't remember the last time we saw him in the red of Wales or the Scarlets. So Dan Jones has taken that 10 jersey, but I think that Sam Costello's got a real opportunity. I don't think Dan Jones is the complete player, and I definitely don't think that you could say that Sam Costello is any less a player than Dan Jones is. So he really looked to try and put his hand up, especially through this Rainbow Cup period, to say that he wants to be involved as of next season. But a penalty here to the Dragons just on halfway. Wonder what the option will be here. Has Sam Davis got it in him to kick that to the posts? Or will they go to the corner? Oop. Lovely bit of play there. Just showing that the Dragons try again. Not a great deal of chat to be had there. Just lovely little bit of offloading down the outside, and they were in. Looks like an injury here to one of the Scarlets front rowers. I think the boys will need these little breaks today, especially with the weather looking as hot as it does and as clear a day as it is down at Rodney Parade. A little bit of a prolonged injury break here. Don't know if it's a serious one or not. They're just trying to work out what it is. If he's in the front row, probably like me, probably just looking for a little bit of gas and air. But they're just showing Mevin Davis there, and I think that was one thing they alluded to in the build-up to this game, is that there's been a massive transformation in the Dragons pack in recent weeks, especially in their tenacity and their ability to carry the ball hard and look to find as many yards as they can. The line-out has been working really, really well. And I think the Dragons are going in the right direction. They've got some massive players to come back into the mix. We mentioned Elliot D, Leon Brown, Jimmy Roberts, all coming back. Obviously, unfortunately, Nick Tompkins' loan spell has ended, so he's gone back to Saracens. Interesting to get people's thoughts on whether they think he'll come back to the Welsh setup at all. I think he was starting to slip away from that Welsh side, especially now that George North has moved into the centre. So it'd be interesting whether he features in Pivac's plans moving forward as an active member of the squad. But we've managed to resolve this injury issue, and the Dragons kick just outside probably about 5 meters outside the Scarlets 22, and they look to build here, look to get the line out working, and look to get some meters. But it has been stolen, and the Scarlets look to counter. Again, another pass does not go to hand, but looking for space on the outside, McNichol drops the boot to ball. Jonah Holmes covers that nicely and has found himself cleared from the defenders and looks to set up the next phase of attack for the Dragons. Sam Davis with a lovely behind-the-back pass, but again, finding grass and not players. But Rio Dyer making a lovely break here, straight down the middle. Backs his pace, looks to the outside. He hasn't got any support with him there, so this could well be a Scarlets turnover. And that it is. But wow, what pace from the young man Rio Dyer there. He looked electric running through there. And Costello puts the ball into touch. It'll be Scarlet's line out, probably 5 meters from the halfway line. For anybody else joining the stream, good afternoon. Welcome to all. Very warm welcome on this lovely late April springtime Sunday. We are here watching the Dragons against the Scarlets. It was quite an interesting quick start. The Dragons got a try, but then through a mistake, the Scarlets answered quickly back. But the Dragons have pinched the line out here, and they look to go straight to the outside through Jared Rosser, trying to scramble to get a few extra meters there, and they set up their attack just inside Scarlet's territory. Tame Basham getting the fend going there and looking to make some yards forward. Referee got in the way a bit there, but Jordan Williams looking for touch, and that is out on the full. Don't know what he was quite doing there. Don't know whether they came off the outside of the boot or something, but that was not a pretty kick. Nice to see Jordan Williams back finding fitness and finding form as well. He scored a lovely try when the Dragons made it home down at the Principality Stadium. But yeah, Scarlets secure ball and look to build some momentum through their forwards and their driving line out. Ryan Elias steering at the back, but it doesn't look like this is going to go very fast, so the referee will tell them to use this shortly, you would imagine. And Dane Blacker looks to the vertical challenge. Oh, and another kick straight out on the full. 2 mistakes in quick succession, one for the Scarlets and one for the Dragons. So very, very good start, but a lot of mistakes creeping in early on. Passes not going to hand, kick straight out into touch. That'll be something that the coaches won't be happy to see early on in this game. But here we are back inside the Scarlets half with Dragons holding possession. And is that another steal? No. Scrappy line-out ball. It has been knocked on by the Scarlets, so it will be advantage to the Dragons as they look to build. A little bit of hesitancy from Rodri Williams there and put Sam Davies under a bit of pressure, but they managed to have recovered and they look to unlock the outside wide channels. Another pass, though, goes straight to ground and it's gone out to touch, but the referee has deemed no advantage to the home side there, so it will be scrum down Dragons ball, probably about 2 or 3 meters inside the Scarlets half. Considering I just mentioned how well the line-out has been going, it's been a little bit scrappy at the start here for both sides, you have to say. But Dragons looking to create some lovely little moves outside. That's a couple of poor passes from Sam Davies now. He really needs to make sure that those passes are going to hand because they're finding space on those wide outside channels. He just needs to actually access them and make sure that they are using them. But welcome to the stream, guys. Get your comments down in the chat. Let's see what happens in this game here. We've seen 2 tries very, very early on. One for Jonah Holmes and the second for... I will find out for you now. I can't remember. It's been so exciting. I can't remember who scored. Jonah Holmes bringing the ball into midfield, and Ross Moriarty finds himself in an acre of space. Nice little drop pass over the shoulder to Aaron Wainwright. Quick ball here, and it's got to be try time for the Dragons. Surely Jordan Williams. No need to use the man outside him. Jordan Williams scores for the Dragons. Lovely, lovely try that for the Dragons. And again, finding these spaces in the Scarlets' defense. Great, great try there. Mentioned Jordan Williams only a few seconds ago, and here he is scoring tries. Wonderful stuff. So, yep, so that's 2 tries to the Dragons now. One for Jonah Holmes, and the second, just see there, from Jordan Williams. Great support from the back rowers there. Moriarty and Wainwright working in tandem there. And then a lovely quick pass goes to hand from Sam Davies, and Jordan Williams is over in the corner. So we have 2 tries for the Dragons and 1 for the Scarlets from Iestyn Rees. But a great start. Thoroughly entertaining game of rugby so far. And let's just hope that it continues in the same vein as we go throughout the afternoon. I will update the scoreboard shortly so that reflects what we've just seen. And Sam Davies using the crossbar then to help it over. So the Dragons take a 12 points to 7 lead as we go into the 18th minute of the game. 12 points to 7. Great stuff. Great stuff early on here. Lovely afternoon for running rugby, we've got to say. So both sides, I think, will try and just throw caution to the wind. But I think this is definitely a far better opening by both sides than we saw in the Blues and Ospreys game yesterday. I think very cagey in that one. Both sides just trying to feel their way into the game. Both sides rusty, having not played for just over a month. But I think the Dragons of the Scarlets have done a really good job at the start of this game to combat that. And they're just starting to put some nice phase play together and looking to build themselves into this game and try and build a lead like they did against Northampton Saints. But hopefully they can see this one off today and get the result. So Rodri Williams box kicks. Well claimed there by Usman Kasim, considering that the sun is beaming down in his eyes. And Johnny McNichol, interestingly, playing at first receiver there, offloading the ball to Jake Ball as they look to get out of their own half and start attacking. Again, a lovely little bit of space found on the outside by Steph Evans. And it's collected by Jared Rosser, but he's under an immense amount of pressure. And Rodri Williams comes away with it and rather than kick it, looks to pass it. And Aaron Owen in some space. There's definite space here. Rio Dyer in absolute acres of space against the Scarlets forwards. It's been charged down, but Tame Basham is there to collect. And this game is really opening up very early on here. Rio Dyer playing scrum half there, offloading the ball to Ben Carter as they set up just inside their own half, looking to attack. Jake Ball making a nuisance of himself there, and the penalty is given away. So, well done to the Dragons there. They got themselves out of trouble and looking to attack straight away. Rio Dyer there, if I was a Scarlets boy trying to cover there, I was absolutely panicking. Oh, here he is. guys, it happened. Okay, the wager was between myself and Brandon that if the Ospreys won yesterday, I would wear an Osprey shirt for our next video. And yeah, unfortunately, mate, I've just had a look. It's there. It's ready. Not looking forward to this whatsoever. But never mind. We'll have you at some point in a tournament that means something. But thank you for joining us, Brandon. Great game. You're missing you, buddy. I know you're in work today, but this has been really, really good game at the start here, and both sides looking to play a wide and expansive brand of rugby. But as I just mentioned there, my good friend Brandon Smith over at Brandon Smith Rugby, creating some really great content at the minute. I'm going to drop his link into the chat in just a second. We're going to be working on some exciting projects over the next few weeks. We've already discussed a few of them. And really exciting things coming up. Really, really exciting. We've got some exciting guests that we want to get onto our various channels and our various shows. But all looking forward. So I'm just going to drop his link down into the chat in just a second. So there is the link to Brandon Smith's channel. Make sure you head over there, guys. Give him a subscribe. Recently hit 1,500 subscribers and looking to build even more over the coming months. But the Dragons, again, looking to attack here. Is that a deliberate knock on there? We have had a replacement. I'll try and double check what that one is now. So Lewis Rawlins is on the field. I'm not sure who it's for, so I'll try and see if I can spot it. Oh, Steph Evans could be in the spot to bother here. That does look like a deliberate knock on. That is a slap of the ball. I think he is trying to initiate the tackle there, so I think it'd be harsh if it was anything more than just a penalty, but it is a deliberate knock on. Yeah, just a penalty. I don't think that was deserving of a yellow card. The Dragons weren't exactly in the red zone, as you like to call it, but yeah, good decision there by the referee to allow that one to slide. But Sam Davis digs the Dragons down deep into Scarlets territory, and they will look maybe for another first phase try. You know, we saw that yesterday in the Ospreys game, trying a lot these teams nowadays to score off first phase. But they've lost the line out, slips through Wainwright's hands and through Steph Evans with a huge kick. That is an enormous kick. It's gone 22-22, and before you know it, the Dragons are in exactly the same place, but in their own half. So a massive net gain for the Scarlets there, and got themselves out of trouble really, really well there. Yeah, Sean Hawley alluding to the fact there, Steph Evans, it's got to be one of the most versatile players I think I've seen of recent times down at the Scarlets. He's absolutely everywhere. He's in and around the ruck looking to carry. He can kick, he can pass, he can run. Such an exciting player, you know, obviously involved in the Welsh side around the 2018-2019 Six Nations and Autumn campaigns. But since then, hasn't really managed to get himself into the side. But Scarlett's looking to attack here again down this left-hand side. They're getting a lot of joy out of the left-hand side of that Dragons defence. Trying to work the blind side as opposed to the open side at the moment. But I think the ball has gone into touch. And it'll be a line-out. What's the Scarlett's line-out? So Elias will look to find his man. Jake Ball goes up and collects cleanly. Not a great pass, though, back to Elias. But Steph Evans, there he is again, carrying into contact. And they're inside the Dragons 22 now. Lovely little pass there to Rob Evans. Makes a few meters and offloads the ball. Penalty advantage, though, to the Scarlets. An indiscretion by the Dragons at the breakdown. Johnny McNichol trying to find some space, but he's just going around in circles there. Tyler Morgan with a little chip into space. Lucky bounce. He flicks it up off. Oh, that was an unfortunate there and there. Johnny McNichol did really well to flick that ball up, but unfortunately, Dane Blacker could not collect the ball. So we're going back for the original offence, the original penalty that the referee had highlighted at the breakdown. Um, but nice little bit of play there. Kasim takes the ball down into contact, and yeah, there is no clear release there from Taylor Davis. No clear release there on the player and trying to compete for the ball. But yeah, that was a close one. That was a really close one. Dane Blacker was very, very close to recollecting that. Tyler Morgan finding a lovely little bit of space in behind, just flicks the ball up off the floor nicely. But Dane Blacker just couldn't collect that ball. However, that was an interesting one though, because if Jordan Williams hadn't hit him, he may well have recollected that ball. So referee could have perhaps looked at that. Potentially, they could have actually used their referee's referral. Would have been interesting to see that used early on, but nonetheless. So we have a penalty, and the Scarlets have brought it back to 12 points to 10. So let's update the scoreboard. 12 points to 10. Yeah, Sean Holly referring to the fact that the captain's challenge was what effectively won them the game on Friday night against Ulster. It was definitely the right choice at the time. And as a result of it, they won the game. So bragging rights go to Ulster after Friday night's game. But kickoff collected by the Scarlets, and they're looking to exit here at around the 10-metre line of their own half. Lovely box kick from Black. A good chase as well from Tom Rogers on the outside. But Jordan Williams does well to collect that. Tries to get himself out of a bit of trouble. Just about avoids the big hit coming in from Rob Evans, who was chasing furiously there. But again, we set up ready for the box kick. And we're going back to the air. Again, I don't know whether there's a bit of a breeze down there as well, because the players are really struggling to find out that landing point of the ball. But McNichol looks to attack. Really love his turn of pace, but he's lost it, and we've got a chase on down the outside here. Sam Costello has taken that back over the line. So is that going to be a scrum 5 to the Dragons? It is indeed. So scrum 5 Dragons ball. Really horrible situation to be. Oh, it's actually given us an offside. Sam Costello tried to slap the ball away as opposed to grounding it behind the line, and Rob Evans came in behind him, dotted the ball down. Oh, no, I think it was Ryan Elias, actually. He came down, dotted the ball down, which obviously counts as an offside. So Roger Williams tells his fly half, Sam Davis, to go to the corner, and the Dragons will look to set up a driving maul here, a matter of meters away from the Scarlets line. Nice thought there from McNichol, trying to find that space on the outside, but just didn't look after the ball on the ground, and unfortunately lost it. And an Iron Owen was straight on that ball, hacking it through, ready to be collected by one of his other players. Good to see that. Oh, and Angus O'Brien is coming on here. I wonder whether Sam Costello picked up a knock there as he went down to claim that ball, but it looks like his afternoon is over. And again, Dragons lose their own line-out ball in an attacking position. Well claimed there. But you've got to say, you've got to take these opportunities. You know, that's twice they've been down now in Scarlet's territory, deep in Scarlet's territory, and haven't been able to come away with anything, so to speak. So they clear. Steph Evans chases hard, and the ball goes out probably around 2 or 3 meters away from the Scarlet's 10-meter line. So you can see by the referees, by the touch judges' flag, that there is quite a strong breeze here this afternoon, which the players have got to contend with, as well as the scorching South Wales sunshine as well. But Scarlets looking to attack now. Got to say, Scarlets' backline, apart from the back three, have been very, very quiet. I haven't seen a lot of Jonathan Davis. Haven't seen a lot of Tyler Morgan, other than that one little chip opportunity. But they look to build. And again, another pass goes to ground. Aaron Wainwright absolutely hounding Johnny McNichol there and getting the turnover ball. And through quick ball here, they could see a chance on the outside. Is that an overlap they've managed to work? Jonah Holmes with the goose step makes great yardage up there and goes to within 3 meters of the Scarlets line. Moriarty, the next man in. Oh, and that's such a good pass. What a fantastic try there. Moriarty drew the players onto himself and then just flicked the ball around the back to Aaron Wainwright, who goes in for the Dragons' third try of the afternoon. Fantastic stuff. So let's update that scoreboard for you guys. So currently 17-10 with the conversion to come. But that all came from, again, another pass that finds grass instead of finding the man. Jonah Holmes doing really well at the outside. He does well to evade the tackle of Steph Evans, who goes really, really low on him. But then this was superb. Moriarty draws the players in and then sees the space that Wainwright is going to fill. Looks like Ryan Elias is having a chat to the ref. I don't know whether this is him using his referee's, his captain's referral. Let's have a listen.
Number 6. Yes, listen. Did you say the middle of the 22? Okay, no problem. I think he's questioning whether Aaron Wainwright legally pushed or shoved or... So it's no arms tackled by Dragons on Scarlets player in the midfield. Is that right? I think Dan. I'm not so sure it was a no arms tackle. You know, I need to be clear on these things. Okay, Dan, I'm not sure you can hear me or not. Has this coming through from you? Yeah, sorry, Craig. If you, turn around now, Craig. Challenge a potential tackle without the ball on the 22 by Dragons number 6 on the red 15. I think it was it, I think it was Aaron Wainwright. They need to be clear on this. So Dan Jones is the television match official? Yeah, bear with us, Craig.
So what they're looking at here is a potential no-arms tackle from Wainwright on Johnny McNichol. In Wainwright's defence there, it looks like he's got the ball, and that does look like a tackle. That's absolutely fine. His hands are on the ball. He's trying to tackle him. That's nothing wrong with that. And if that's what they are looking at, there's nothing wrong with that because McNichol has got hands to that ball. Yep. So a wasted captain's challenge there by Ryan Elias. Thought that Johnny McNichol had been tackled without the ball. Was not the case. And the try is awarded. So Sam Davis gets the opportunity to extend the Dragons' lead out to 9 points, which you've got to say, they've been the far better side at the moment. So Sam Davis with the kick. And it is unsuccessful. So the score stays at 17 points to 10 as we go into the final 10 minutes of this first half. It's got to be said, it's been a really enjoyable first half of rugby. I've got to say I've thoroughly enjoyed the rugby the Dragons are playing. But then again, I've really enjoyed the stuff that the Dragons have been doing for a couple of weeks now. Apart from that, absolute howler in Europe. If there are any Scarlets fans in the chat or they'll watch this a bit later on, be interested to get your thoughts in where you think the Scarlets are at the minute. Are they in a good position, or do you think that they need a little bit of a push in the right direction? Obviously, with the arrival of Dwayne Peel, that could be the case. Talking to the touch judge about something new. Okay, so there's a bit of a problem. It seems Nigel Owens just informing the referee there that the TMO mic is not working for the referee. He can't hear what the TMO is saying. So Nigel Owens just coming over and telling him now that if there's anything he needs or anything the TMO says, then the touch judges will let him know. But the Dragons collect the ball from kickoff, and through Ben Carter, they look to dig their way out of trouble and set up a good clearing position here for Rodri Williams. And again, the Dragons looking to attack from deep, and Iron Owen, 2 hands on the ball, draw and give, and it's created a 2-on-2 opportunity where, thought they might have got a turnover there. But Jared Rosser takes the ball into contact. Moriarty gets absolutely flattened there by Yestin Reese. And Roger Williams looks to the box kick. The Dragons will chase this and try to compete. But Angus O'Brien finds himself into a bit of space, looks inside him, and Dane Blacker is there. Will he make it? Uses Steph Evans on the outside, and it's a try for the Scarlets. What a wonderful game of rugby this is. Both sides really, really going at it. You've got to say, credit to the both sides here for the way that they're looking to play this afternoon. And we have another try. Wow. What is happening? So Steph Evans managing to get himself on the score sheet, and he's looked really, really promising in this first half. Really exciting. He's tried to get himself involved as much as he can. They're having a little look at something here, whether it is a forward pass to Angus O'Brien. I don't know whether they've used their captain's challenge. Just listening.
Well, just a link. You've got Dane Blacker on the inside. He do possession of the ball. Try is good, Craig. Try is good. Thought maybe he's going to go inside to Jonathan.
Doesn't look like it was a captain's referral, but it does look like that they just wanted a little bit of clarity from the television match official, and it has been given as a good try. So Sam Costello looks to extend the Scarlet scoreboard, and he has missed it, unfortunately. So there are 2 points in it. Currently 17 points to 15 in favour of the Dragons. But this has been a really, really interesting game. End-to-end stuff across the pitch. And Scarlets scoring the latest try there. Been really, really good. In patches, the Scarlets. You've got to say the Dragons have been by far the better side in this first half. But as we look to go through the last 8 minutes now of this first half before we take a little break, the Dragons will try to extend that lead they do have, whereas the Scarlets, they look to try and close the gap where it's the first half that they've defended for quite a bit and a lot of mistakes, but yet they're still in this game quite comfortably. So Dragons will really look to assert their authority they've had in this first half within the next few minutes. Dane Blacker looking to the box kick here. Finds a lot of space, actually, and is caught by Rodri Williams, who was tracking back, which you don't usually see, but he goes back off in attack. That looks like a forward pass. Kasim dives on that ball really well and makes a good few meters afterwards as well. But again, another pass finding grasp, but in this instance, they pulled it back for something. It's a penalty to the Scarlets for not rolling away. They're saying that was the reason why the pass was impeded, and that was the reason why the pass did not go to the man. So we go to a Scarlets penalty just inside their own half. Sam Costello with a nice little kick and makes good 20 meters with that, they'd say. And they're about 5 meters outside the Dragons' 22. Their lineouts have been working quite well so far this game. You know, there have been opportunities for both sides to try and compete for the ball. But you've got to say the Scarlets have had the better rub of the green in terms of lineout ball. Well secured at the back by Blade Thompson, I think that was. And they start to set up the maul, even though it's crabbing a little bit. But Ryan Elias does so well off the back there, not accepting the tackle. And Dane Blacker breaks the tackle. He drops that loosely, but fair play to Sam Costello, diving in and amongst all those forwards there, reclaims the ball, and the Scarlets attack is still moving forward. Moriarty with a tackle there on Lewis Rawlins. Ball comes out to, I think that was Johnny McNichol again at first receiver. It was. Blacker, lovely snipe. And the Scarlets have their third try. Lovely try from Blacker there. Really, really nice opportunity. He saw the space, thought he'd try a little snipe, and he had the gas to get there. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. This scoreboard is having an absolute battering this afternoon. I've had to change it so many times. So we have another try, 20 points to 17 in favour of the Scarlets. To see them finding their way back into this game. It's been a really tough time for them in terms of attack. A lot of passes going to ground, a few kicks going out on the full. But when they have attacked, they've looked really exciting. The the covering defense there of the Dragons not getting across quickly enough. I think Blacker spotted Bateman in the defensive line right at the brink, and Costello puts the conversion over, which sees the Scarlets take a 5-point lead. 22 points to 17, 5 minutes to go in this first half. But yeah, who was it? Oh, yeah, I think he just gets on the outside of Bateman there. And from there, Sam Davis is always struggling to get across to catch the Scarlets 9. A little bit of treatment here for Johnny McNichol. Looks like a bit of strapping being applied to his ankle. Good to see him back playing. Really, really exciting player. Really promising player in terms of a Welsh prospect. Seems to be walking quite gingerly even with the strap in there. So hopefully it's nothing too serious and we will see him out for the second half. Time off here for something. Yep, we're just waiting for McNichol to rejoin the action. And Sam Davis will look to kick. Will it be a kick to compete? It's up high, really high. But well claimed there by Lewis Rawlins and covered well in the defence by Joe Maximu. Blacker organising his forwards well. They said he wanted them on the blind side as opposed to the open side. And Kasim takes that role and carries the ball well, where they set up a nice box kick opportunity here. Pressure there from Taylor Davis, and he has got a hand to it and got a mini charge down on that. But the Scarlets have managed to get the ball back. Elias with it at the moment. And they set up their attack at around the halfway line. Very deep Costello there, puts a nice kick in, but Sam Davis covers it well and returns with interest. It's a lovely looking kick. And it goes into touch. Well done by Sam Davis. They covered the kick really, really well and found the space down in the Scarlets backfield where I don't know why Sam Davis has picked the ball up because I think it's going to be Scarlets line-out ball. Yeah, it's going to be Scarlets ball. So yeah, lovely kick there. Dragons try to compete here and maybe get another try back just before halftime. But both sides scoring 3 tries in this first half. Really good to see. Nice, open, expansive style of rugby. Now, there's definitely one to watch back on the highlight reels. We've taken time off here a second. Yeah. So we've had to have a little pause just a second whilst the referee has his microphone pack reattached so that he can hear what the TMO is saying because he seems to have lost all form of communication with that respect. Ryan Elias trying to have a chat to the referee in regards to something. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to get out of this conversation because nothing's really happened there for him to say anything untoward. Focusing on Jake Ball there. Sad to see him leaving at the end of the season, going back home to Australia. Will be missed, but I think that, you've got to, especially with the year that we've just had, I think you've really got to take into consideration what you think is important. And as much as we all love rugby, it is not the be-all and end-all. There is a life after rugby and there is things outside of rugby as well that players need to take into consideration. So don't blame the man whatsoever, and I wish him all the best when he goes back to Australia at the end of the season. So we're just setting up now. So they have managed to get something out of this, actually. They've got to... There we go, that looks a bit better. Sorry, guys, just trying to sort my camera out. It's not playing ball today, probably because it's so bright outside. But Taylor Davis said to be offside there when he tried to get the charge down on Dane Blacker. So rather than putting pressure on and look to get a try or something out of the first half now, they will now have to defend another Scarlet attack, which they will set up at around the 10-meter line in the Dragons' half. Very, very good first half. It's been a bit back and forth. It's been a bit like been a bit of a pendulum swing of this game. The Dragons had all the momentum in the early stages. Scarlets found their way back into it, but then the Dragons started to pull away again. And you've got to say, in the last 5 or so minutes, the Scarlets really have been putting the pressure on the Dragon side. So this game could go absolutely anywhere. Line-up ball is secured at the tail again, and they launch into attack. Jonathan Davis with a little pass off to Tyler Morgan. Blacker again with a pass to Elias. Elias is in space all on his own. And it's try time for the Scarlets. I was just going to say, I thought that the opportunity had gone there, but the cameraman quite deceptively showing us what was actually going on. And Ryan Elias, the captain for this afternoon, gets himself a try. So I have to update the scoreboard again. Got to say, the commentary side having a real struggle this afternoon because the camera people are not showing the correct angles after. So they just trying to show the try just now, and they showed Steph Evans' try, even though that happened a good 5 minutes ago. Very flat pass to Elias. I think that's what they're referring to here, and the Dragons might want to try and have a word here and say whether it was a forward pass or not, but he was in so much space. It was a literal walk-in. But yeah, to me, that looks forward. That looks like it could be a forward pass. But the clock has stopped, so I don't know whether they're looking at this. Right, so, yep, they go into the TMO. Let's have a listen in.
So Craig Evans, in the meantime, as we reprising the try that might not be a try. Yeah, out the hands forward. That's your angle, clearly forward, Craig. Yeah, you want
try disallowed. Seen as a forward pass by Craig Evans, I think the name of the referee. He's had a good game, I think, so far, the referee. So no try for the Scarlets, and they look to build again in the last 2 minutes of this first half. But welcome along to the stream, guys. We are just about a minute and a half out from half time now, and we'll take a short break there, short comfort break, just whilst they go through the analysis at halftime. And then we'll come back and have a look at some stats, see where this game is being played, where this game is being won or lost, and how either side can go ahead and win this game. Because, got to say, at the minute, it is on a real knife edge with potential of either side going and doing the job on this. But secure ball at scrum time. It's gone down, but the referee has allowed it to be played, and the Dragons come away with it. And Iron Owen finding a little gap there and powering through it. On his shoulder there is a nice bit of support from Jared Rosser, and the Scarlets are all at 6s and 7s in defence. Ben Carter goes galloping through a gap in the middle. Sam Davis with a pass. Lewis Rawlins surely offside there, but they keep going forward. Team Basham with a carry from the base. Roger Williams, good quick ball here. Oh, and it's been intercepted, but it's been knocked on. So, real mess there it ended up being. But we still have time at the end of this first half I think we're going to restart with a Dragon scrum. But an Iron Owen there, spotting the space. Dane Blacker tried to bring him down, eventually brought down by Tyler Morgan. But then spotting that opportunity in midfield where the defence was just not organised, and Ben Carter comes galloping through. Does a really, really good job of making some decent meters. Just having a look here. Yeah, Steph Evans is always trying to catch that with two hands. He's never slapped at that. So it should restart with a scrum to the Dragons. Exciting end to this first half. Dragons currently behind by 5 points, a score of 22 points to 17. And we'll look to try and close that gap, or at least overcome it, even by going ahead at half time. So there is our current scoreline. Thought we might have had to update it, but we got a little bit of a break here due to an injury for looks like Lewis Rawlins receiving some treatment to his elbow. But in the meantime, if you are new to the channel, guys, and you haven't been before, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. We just hit 22 subscribers this weekend, so a big push now, trying to aim for 50 subs by the first Lions test in the summer. And in terms of Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, guys, welcome to you as well. Make sure to like the page and follow us. And every time that we're going to go live like this, you will get a notification, an option to be notified when we do to go live. So make sure to do that so you never miss a stream, never miss a match, or never miss a video. 100 of you, over 100 of you joined over on Facebook. So that's great to see. And let's try and build this community up now, guys. And let's build a nice little chat down in the comment section of both YouTube and Facebook platforms. So scrum here, just inside the Scarlets 22. Rodri Williams, ball in hand. I wonder how the Dragons will approach this now. Will it be a Wainwright peel off the back? Nope, it's straight ball to Sam Davis, an offload back inside to, I think it was Rio Dyer there. Clean ball. Moriarty comes charging around the corner. Nice, good carry in there. Rodri Williams trying to scrap for a few yards, but it looks like that's been turned over. No, it's in the hands of Moriarty as he looks for the forwards around him to bring that ball forward and get Rodri Williams back into the game. Ben Carter, next man up to make a few more meters, and Rodri Williams is back. Nice pass there behind the back. Jordan Williams gets those dancing feet moving again, goes perilously close to the touchline, but he is still in field. Tame Basham is the next man, charging for that white line. Oh, and it's been lost forward, but yep, that's been kicked off. So at halftime, the score is 17 points to 22 in favor of the visitors. So an interesting first half where we've seen 6 tries split evenly between the both sides. We're going to take a quick break now, guys, but when we come back, we'll have a little look at some halftime analysis. We'll have a look at some of the stats, and we'll have a little look at how this game will be won. In the meantime, if you're watching, make sure to stick around and share the video around, guys. Stick it in your WhatsApp group, stick it in your Facebook chat, get people on, and let's get a chat going down in the comment section. But for the time being, I'm just going to go and have a quick break now, go and get myself a drink and go for a little toilet break. But we'll be back very, very shortly, so we will see you then. Welcome back, guys, to the watch along here for the Scarlets game this afternoon. Just a second. Oh, sorry about that. So, yeah, we are at halftime here of the game between the Scarlets and the Dragons, which the Scarlets lead 22 points to 17. Been a really, really good start. And we're going to have a quick look now at some of the stats from the game. So here we go. Here are the halftime stats. So obviously 22 points to 17. Away side coming away with the 5-point lead at halftime. If we have a little look at how that game has gone, obviously 3 tries apiece for the Dragons, Jonah Holmes, Jordan Williams and Aaron Wainwright. And then for the away side, it was Yestin Reese, Steph Evans and Dane Blacker, with just the 1 penalty for Sam Costello for the Scarlets and 1 conversion missed for the Scarlets, whereas 2 were missed for the Dragons. So let's have a quick look at the stats. It's been quite a lot of possession in favour of the Dragons. They'd be quite concerned that they couldn't make that count for a little more in that first half. The thing, 10 clean breaks in that first half and 16 defenders beaten. That's something the Dragons will definitely look to work on as this second half progresses. If we look in terms of defence, the territory as well, the majority of the game has been played in the Scarlets half. Scarlets having to make far more tackles and have missed slightly more. But the tackle success rate's down quite low for these sides who usually pride themselves on much, much better defence and 3 turnovers apiece. 4 penalties aside, which I think has been quite good, to be honest. I think the discipline has been quite good for both sides. And obviously we look down here and we see Jared Rosser being involved quite heavily for the Dragons in his new role at outside centre. Jonah Holmes making a couple of clean line breaks, and both Jonah Holmes and Dane Blacker, both try scorers this afternoon, getting 4 defenders beaten between them. Leading the defence, would you believe it? Steph Evans. They mentioned it earlier on this afternoon, saying that Steph Evans gets himself everywhere. Well, I think that definitely shows that. Jonathan Davis getting a turnover, but other than that, I don't think we've seen an awful lot from Jonathan Davis. So there are the halftime stats in this one as we go into the second half. So great to see you guys. If you are down in the chat, if you are in the stream, make sure you get yourselves down in the chat. Let's have a little conversation and see what's happening this afternoon with you. Hope you are all well. And obviously in this game, we talked about it earlier on, but we'll have a little chat about it again. Great job being done by Glenn Delaney, but he will be stepping aside next season for Dwayne Peel. New head coach arriving at the end of this season, once his time at Ulster Rugby has ended. Mixed views on this one for me. Obviously, for those of you that are not aware, I am a Cardiff Blues fan. So I would have loved to have seen Dwayne Peel come down to us at the Blues. But obviously, he was offered a far more lucrative deal at the Scarlets, and that was what eventually pulled him down to West Wales. But like I said, Matt Sherratt has joined down at the Cardiff Blues, and it'll definitely be something that they'll want to look at in weeks to come, because the Blues just were simply not good enough yesterday. If we have a little look back, the result from the game yesterday says it all. 36 points to 14, and I think that scoreline flattered the Blues because they just simply weren't in the game at all. The Ospreys were far more clinical, far more professional. But the interesting and the concerning point is that George North was taken off in that game, sustained an injury, of which we hope it isn't too serious. But if we look just by his facial expressions from that hit that he took, well, actually, it wasn't from the hit that he took. He looked a sidestep, and it looked like he went in on his knee slightly. So unfortunately, he looks like he's going to be out for a little while. Hopefully not too long. As the Lions tour and the Welsh tours are around the corner. But that's an interesting point that I wanted to get onto and talk about in this second half is, who do you guys think are the players that could potentially be bolters from the Lions from within the Welsh regions? But also, who do you think could potentially go on the Welsh summer tour? I was speaking with a good friend of mine, Brandon, yesterday, and we were saying that it'll be quite interesting to see how Pivac approaches this summer tour. Will he use it as an opportunity to see new players and to get new players involved? So the likes of an Iron Owen that we've seen this afternoon, get these guys involved, or will he go the opposite way and will he start to bring in some experience just to try and keep some of that consistency? So if we look, maybe Jamie Roberts, there had to be some talk of whether he would be involved during this Six Nations. So be interesting to see how they go about it. But they are just about to come back out. The camera just showing Glenn Delaney there as he steps out ready for this second half. So if you are in the chat, guys, make sure to come and say hello. Great to have you here. And we'd love to get your thoughts and opinions as the second half gets underway. Got to keep the hydration up, guys. Hot day today. So the sides are out. Jake Ball sporting a wonderful beard, which has been compared to mine slightly, but a lot worse. But yeah, Jake Ball, sad to see him go at the end of this season, but he has definitely been a fantastic servant to the Scarlets and to Wales during his time here. But like we said, time to start thinking of families, especially through COVID. It is all given us the perspective that I think we all needed of what is important. And as I've always mentioned on rugby, I'm a big rugby fan. I always have been, always will be, but there are other things to life and rugby isn't the be all and end all. So no blame on him there for going back, but we will definitely miss him here in Wales. Dean Ryan and the Dragons are back out on the field as the second half is just about to get underway. I wonder what approach Dean Ryan will take to the second half, because a lot of, like we just saw when we looked at the stats, a lot of what we saw worked really, really well for the Scarlets, the Dragons, in the first half. They had the majority of possession, they had the majority of territory, yet they found themselves 5 points behind at halftime. The first try that they conceded to a mistake, and the try that they almost conceded just before halftime, there was massive gaps opening up in that defence, which reflects in the defence stats that we saw at halftime. But we are about to get underway for this second half. And the ball is claimed from the kickoff by Ross Moriarty, I think that was. And Sam Davis looks to clear down into the Scarlets' half. Jonah Holmes collecting nicely, a lovely little spin. And Jonah Holmes has found himself in an acre of space. Beats the last man. Slightly high challenge on him there, but Tame Basham was there. Rodri Williams unfortunately losing the ball forward. But, the Dragons start in the first half as they ended the first. And Jonathan Davis looks to clear on that left boot of his. Finds quite a bit of space as all the Dragons guys were up in attack. But Rio Dyer now looks to get his feet going and looks to see if he can find some space. And he does find a fair few meters, making a good 7 or 8 meters there. The ball comes out now to the wide outside. Moriarty with another great carry. He's been really good in this game, Ross Moriarty. Been really impressed by him, and especially his tenacity in the way that he carries the ball. But the ball is stopped around the middle of the field, and I think Rob Evans has got in the way of Rodri Williams' pass there. Has he got in the way, or has Rodri Williams milked that penalty out? But penalty given for not rolling away. And I wonder what approach the Dragons will take. But they're just showing the Jonah Holmes break again. Steps off the inside, spins around, and finds himself in an acre of space and galloping down in towards the Scarlets' half. Rodri Williams just not able to claim that offload there. Would have liked to have seen them take that ball, but yeah, Rob Evans has got to do better to get out of there. But Sam Davis is lining up the penalty. So, Sam Davis from pretty central position, and he has converted it. So the Dragons are back within 20 points to the home side in favour, 22 points for the away side of the Scarlets. 2 minutes played in the second half. So let's get that, guys, up there for you to see. So Sam Costello having a little look around the field, trying to scout where the best place to place this kickoff is. Considering that the sun is still where it is, it would be an opportunity here for the Scarlets to try and put some pressure on the Dragons in collecting these kickoffs. Ben Carter does really well there and comes away with the ball early on. Rodri Williams looking to his forwards. goes behind to Sam Davis, who finds Johnny McNichol. An update that's just come in through now that Jared Rosso has gone off during halftime, and he has been replaced by young Evan Lloyd. So interesting decision there, considering Jack Dixon is on the bench. Perhaps they're just trying to give the new guy a run out. Can't say I've heard a lot about him, but looking forward to see what he can do in this game. I think it's the perfect game to try and express yourself. But a nice kick put up the touchline there and collected by Sam Costello. It's been charged down though, and the Dragons have reclaimed it. But the Scarlets have managed to pinch it there. I think it might have been intercepted there, but Dane Blacker looks to his forwards to give them the platform to start an attack from within their own half. Goes behind the back. Oh, that looked like almost a bit of a forward pass there, but Angus O'Brien tries to swerve and duck his way out of trouble. Dane Blacker calling the forwards in closer here. Kasim with the show and then the pass away to Lewis Rawlins. Rob Evans with a lovely pass there off the left hand to put Jonathan Davis, what it looks like. Oh, tried the offload there and I didn't think it was on really, but Rob Evans comes galloping around. Love to see a forward in the loose with ball in hand. So we set up here. A little bit of sense here. I'm all for playing expansively, but there are times we've just got to draw a line and say, look, let's get rid of the ball. We don't want to be playing in this area of the field. Roger Williams can't take it cleanly, but Sam Davis is just behind to collect that ball. Scarlets all going off their feet at the breakdown there, and the referee will have to be careful with that as this game goes on. But Ross Moriarty doing well to swat away a few potential defenders there and make a metre or so. Roger Williams requiring the services of his forwards here now to make a nice caterpillar, ready to clear the ball. And he does so. Ball goes up nice and high and drops into the arms of Dane Blacker, who offloads in turn to Angus O'Brien. Looks for a bit of space, takes the ball into contact just around the 10-metre line of the Scarlets half. Blacker out to Kasim. And a lovely bit of handling there. Blade Thompson taking the ball into contact just short of the halfway line. They're going narrow here. Dane Blacker again finding space. He's gone around Maximu. He's beaten the challenge of... And Steph Evans is it. Steph Evans wiggling, swerving, dummying. Just doesn't know what to do, but I think he's lost the ball on the ground there. And Rodri Williams looks to counter out to his own 22 now. Lovely bit of play. And this game is wide open here. Lovely kick from Rodri Williams. Really does relieve the pressure. But Sam Costello goes back. Beats Evan Lloyd, the first defender, and goes off on a little run of his own, tackled by Taylor Davis. And Dragons looked to compete there, but couldn't quite get their hands on the ball. But we're setting up nicely here now. Lewis Rawlins taking the ball into contact. Tries to get the ball away to Rob Evans, but Maximu had him wrapped up quite nicely there. Steph Evans, lovely feet there, and offloads to Tyler Morgan, but unfortunately in the process, the ball is knocked on. So it is going to be a scrum down Dragons ball and a chance for the players to take a breather because this game is really starting to open up and it's just very, very good end-to-end stuff as we're looking here. I think we're going to be seeing the benches a lot sooner than we normally would on a day like today, especially with the way that the game is going. From the Dragons' point of view, really, really want to see Matthew Screech come on. I think he's been one of the players that really stood out for me for the Dragons towards the tail end of their season. Operates very, very well in the line-out, is great in the loose. Interestingly linked with a potential move to the Cardiff Blues. Don't know what sources have backed that up as yet. But yeah, like we just mentioned, the first two replacements of the second half are seen as Greg Bateman and Maximu come off. And I assume Matthew Screech and Reece Lawrence will come on to the pitch. Also, Werner Krier is on in the front row for the Scarlets. So we've got one new addition to the front row of the Scarlets and two for the Dragons as we pack down here for this scrum. But yeah, Matthew Screech, interesting that he is being linked to a potential move to the Blues, especially with the success he's had with the Dragons over the years. But for the Scarlets, I cannot wait to see number 20, Carwyn Tuipulotu. I've seen little bits of him, but I haven't seen him in a game of this standing. So it'd be really, really interesting to see what he does when he comes on. Really exciting back row talent. And when you've got the backing of the Faletau family, you're not going to be far wrong. But Rio Dyer collects a lovely chip off the outside here, and it's inside to Evan Lloyd, back out to Dyer. And we've got our first try of the second half. Rio Dyer working really, really well with Evan Lloyd there. And we have our first try of the afternoon. First half. No, try again, Ben. We've got our first try of the second half. Lovely rugby there. I'm not sure who it was that put that kick up the outside, but Rio Dyer did a superb job to collect it. We are having a look. I would assume they're trying to check if he's offside. Let's listen in.
Well, it would be a real shame, wouldn't it? What a try from the Dragons. The deft dink from young Evan Lloyd. He just come on, checking that pass. That's come off Johnny McNichol. A deflection. It's going back, and I think McNichol just gets a touch on it.
I'm not sure. It was a great chip forward, wasn't it?
Evan Lloyd with a chip. Dyer has done a superb job to collect it. I think for me, nothing wrong with that. I think try should be given. I think it has. Yep, try has been given. And it is now 27 points to 22 in favour of the home side. Great bit of work between Evan Lloyd and Rio Dyer there to unlock that Scarlets defence and score the try. But we're back underway. Ben Carter clearing away with the ball. Jack Dixon is now on as well for the Dragons, and he's the next man to take the ball into contact. Here it is. That man, Matthew Screech, looks really good in the open. Forced an offload there, and unfortunately unable to be collected by Josh Reynolds. Jonathan Davis, I don't know what he was doing there. Tried to shovel a pass on. That was never, ever really on. Big concerns for me over Jonathan Davis at the moment. You know, a lot of talk, you know, the fact the Lions, we are just over a week away from hearing the announcement of the Lions squad. And I'll be honest, I struggle to see where Jonathan Davis fits in that Lions setup. Perhaps he still goes on merit because, you know, he was massively a part of what Warren Gatland did with Wales for so long. So perhaps he does still have a place somewhere. But I just think if you look at the Six Nations, the players like Robbie Henshaw had, Henry Slade, really like the look of Henry Slade at the moment. You've got to look as well if he's fit. Gary Ringrose had a really, really good Six Nations. Looking across to Scotland, Hugh Jones, he came well at the end of the Six Nations. I don't know whether he may get that call up, but certainly heavily involved with Scotland towards the end of the year. Cameron Redpath, another player that people are talking about, but I don't think we've seen enough of him on the international stage yet. So there are a lot of players, and George North obviously now being considered as a wing and a centre option, and with a much smaller squad than we normally see on a Lions tour, and especially the way you like to see Gatland play on Lions tours. If we look at the 2013 and the 2017 tours, likes to play that dual playmaker system. So you imagine it would be a player like Slade or like Farrell, maybe. Interesting mention around Farrell, and we are actually, myself and Brandon are going to be doing a podcast which will go live on Tuesday evening. And the first topic is the brand new podcast that Brandon is launching, the Breakdown Podcast. And our first topic of discussion will be who is our Lions captain. So we're going to go through all the potential candidates and go through our reasoning as to why we think each of them is. So make sure, if you look back in the chat, there is the link to Brandon's channel. Make sure you go and have a little look because that will be dropping on Tuesday night. And that is set to be a really, really interesting podcast. But Scarlets look to attack out of their 22 there and seem to be having some success, but it seems to have broken down a bit now. Kasim with the ball in one hand, looking to try and get that offload, but nothing appearing at the moment. Blacker doing a really good job this afternoon of organising his pack around him. I wonder if we'll see Kieran Hardy come on shortly or whether they'll give chance for Blacker to really establish himself as that 9 role, because he really has marshalled his forwards and his players around him really well this afternoon. Ball is offloaded to Rob Evans as he tries to make a few yards out of the 22, but I think they are going to revert to the box kick now. Caterpillar set up, and Blacker eventually clears and looks for touch, I think. but he hasn't made touch. He's gone into the arms of Rodri Williams, who in turn passes inside to Sam Davis. A bit indecisive there, but takes the ball into contact just inside the Scarlets half. Rio Dyer, with ball in hand, looks to try and get onto the outside, but he has lost the ball forward and is mopped up by Ryan Elias, who carries through and sets up a position inside the Dragons half. Johnny McNichol goes in to play 9 and in turn offloads to Lewis Rawlins. So this game very much swinging back and forth, but no release in the tackle there. So penalty advantage to the Scarlets as Jonathan Davis looks to do something here at around the halfway line. No advantage given though, and the referee goes back to the penalty for the Scarlets just inside the Dragons' territory. Interesting to see where they go from this, whether they take the penalty just to try and get themselves back into the game somewhat, or whether they push to the corner, because like we mentioned, the Rainbow Cup, not everybody's cup of tea at the moment. A lot of people are talking about it at the moment quite naturally. But for me, I don't really see the point of trying to take points. And for me, ultimately, the performance is what you want to look out of it, which for me is where the Blues went so wrong yesterday. But we'll talk about that in just a second. As we see Rob Evans walking off here, doesn't look too pleased. I don't know whether he wanted to be out there for a little bit longer. Hands are on the hips, and he looks a little bit disappointed to be coming off. But he is replaced by Stephen Thomas, who will take over. And now we have all bar the hooker. Ryan Elias is the only initial member of that Scarlets front row that is still out there. Interesting to see some of these youngsters coming through. I think it's a really, really nice opportunity. I've mentioned there a couple of times on my own videos and on other people's that I think it's a perfect post preseason for these players. They've been in camp for the majority of the season now, and they've got this chance to be able to go out and express themselves, go out and play some rugby and show what they can do. As Sam Costello here digs the ball just outside the Dragons 22, I think, and they will set up an attacking line out just inside that territory. Nigel Owens has gone for his jacket. Must be getting a bit cold down there for Nige. But we have a replacement as well in Aaron Jarvis, the experienced former Welsh international, has come on in place of Chris Coleman, who I think had quite a good game, to be fair to him. Ryan Elias tries to hit the back of the lineup and misses it, and Rodri Williams is straight on that and puts a grubber up the outside. He's going right down the tram line here. It looks like it's going to go all the way dead, and it is. That's unfortunate there, because if that had sort of held up a little bit, I think McNichol and Rodri Williams were going pace for pace with each other then, so it would have been interesting to see who won that battle. But yeah, going to the back of the lineup, great option. It's worked really well for the Scarlets at stages during this game, but with that one, it went a little bit too much on it from Ryan Elias, and the ball is then taken away by Rodri Williams. As we see Tyler Morgan leave the pitch, and he is replaced by Steph Hughes. Tyler Morgan looking, I don't know, he didn't look great then. He was hands on knees moment, but Steph Hughes is on one of the great clubmen down at the Scarlets. There week in, week out, and always doing his best, putting his best foot forward for the Scarlets. So we got a scrum here at around the halfway line from where the ball was kicked by Rodri Williams when the ball went dead. And it goes to the back of the scrum where penalty is given to the Dragons. Referee has deemed the loose head on this side as collapse in the scrum. Aaron Jarvis there showing all his experience of his time in both the Pro 14 and in the Gallagher Premiership. And doing a really, really good, and in the top 14, at Clermont to eke out that penalty there. And the Dragons will be very, very relieved there, because they can now launch another attack and try and push this lead even further. So if you are in the chat, guys, welcome along to the watch along this afternoon. We're showing the game, obviously, because of copyright reasons. But if you're only just joining, where have you been? You've missed a cracking game so far. 27 points to 22 in favour of the Dragons, who have already secured a bonus point. The captain, Ryan Elias, just leaving the field now and has been replaced by Dav Hughes. And the Dragons secure a line-out ball at the front. I think that's been knocked on. No, it hasn't. And Rodri Williams has found himself on the outside. He's going for the corner. Oh, that's a superb covering tackle there by Johnny McNichol. Rodri Williams has gone down. He looks really uncomfortable there. Interesting there, though. I'm wondering if there were any arms involved in that tackle from Johnny McNichol, because he just came across and absolutely flew into that challenge. Let's see what happens here, because Roger Williams looks in a considerable amount of pain. Nigel Owens is having a chat with the referee, giving his opinion. Let's have a listen and see what he's saying.
Okay, Dan, can you hear me? Yeah, I got you, Craig. Okay, players obviously dive for the try. He's legal to obviously make the tackle. Just want to check if there is a genuine attempt to make a wrap in the tackle. If there is, then it's just going to be touch. Yeah, no problem. We'll get it lined up for you, Craig. We'll have a look at this now. Did he ground the ball?
I don't think they're going to look for a grounding here. I personally don't think that there was a grounding at all, but it's interesting to see where the arms were in this tackle here. So Roger Williams makes a lovely break. Werner Krier doing all he can to get across. And yeah, I've got to say, looking at that in slow motion, Johnny McNichol has made an attempt to wrap and makes, for me, a really good tackle there. So well done to Johnny McNichol there. But interestingly, who does the ball come off? Does it come off Johnny McNichol? So he's given it as a knock on from the Dragons. Roger Williams still receiving treatment. Looked like he was in a considerable amount of pain there. Perhaps that could be his last involvement in the game, considering obviously that there are more games to come. But a great cover tackle there by Johnny McNichol. And the game will restart with a scrum 5 meters out to the Scarlets. Calix, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in the chat before, buddy, so welcome along. Dragons been looking the better side. Absolutely, mate. Really, really have. I've really liked the way that they've taken this game and they've approached this game. Fantastic players this afternoon. You know, I think I've really liked the look of Rio Dyer. Jonah Holmes continued the form that he showed throughout this season. And is doing really, really well out there. So yeah, mate, definitely deserving of their lead so far. And to be honest, if you were with us at halftime and you'd have seen the stats, the Scarlets, they're looking a little bit behind in terms of where the Dragons are. But yeah, that is Roger Williams' last involvement of the game as he takes his leave and is replaced by Babos or Babos, or I'll go with Babos. So I think that is the Dragons bench, apart from Dan Baker. All bar one member of the Dragons bench has now entered the field of play. Still a couple left on the Scarlets bench. Still excited to see Karen Tuipulotu as we go into the 56th minute of this game. Kasim carrying from the base, but Babos has done a really good job there. I don't know what Kasim was doing there, swinging the ball out so wide as he was, but put his side under real pressure there. And now Blacker will look to clear from his own line and does a really good job of it, to be fair to him. Making a good few meters there, almost making it out to the 22, in fact. So great stuff there. Really, really good clearance. Made it a little bit uncomfortable by the work of Kasim, but the Dragons have a line out now and is claimed by Matthew Screech, and they go to the driving maul just outside the Scarlets 22 here at the 56-minute mark. It's being held at the back. Not a lot happening here, so he will look to play this as soon as possible. Sam Davis offloads to Jack Dixon, and the quick ball comes. Moriarty coming charging around the corner, and again, quick ball. Matthew Screech, the next man, that trying to breach the Scarlets' defence. Couldn't get that ball cleanly away there, and you had a few men really charging around. I'm loving the running lines from the Dragons forwards this afternoon. But Aaron Jarvis, the next man, carrying into contact. Babos, again, getting a nice quick ball away and trying to put this Scarlets defence under pressure and force them into making mistakes. But a lovely pass there. And a Nyron Owen is in. Sam Davis there with a lovely pass. Put Jack Dixon, I think it was, into a bit of space. And then a simple 2-on-1. And Nyron Owen gets the try. Mentioned this guy before the game started. I really, really like the look of this kid moving forward, and he did a great job there. So it's Sam Davis holds, puts. It's actually Evan Lloyd, actually. He puts Evan Lloyd into space, then a simple 2-on-1, and a Nyron Owen gets the score. You've got to say, from the Dragons, they've taken every chance that has come at them in this game with both hands and played some fantastic stuff. So let's get to updating that scoreboard for you guys. So the Dragons extend their lead to 10 points with the conversion to come. Sam Davis hasn't had the best afternoon from the tee, and there is a little bit of a breeze around. So we'll see how successful he is with this conversion. Chips it nicely, and it is over. So the score is now 34 points to 22 in favour of the home side. Let's have a look at this one. So from what I've seen this season, I feel like the Dragons are slowly making some progress. Unfortunately, I've got a busy Sunday, so can't stick around, but keep up the great work on this channel. Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you very much. That does mean a lot. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Scarlet, the Dragons are making some real progress now, and especially towards the end of this season, I think they really did show what they were about and what they can do. So yeah, you're spot on, mate. Thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you again on the next one. So all the best for your Sunday, mate. But yep, there is the current scoreline, 34 points to 22, as we enter the final quarter of this game. And here he comes, the man that I've been so excited to see. Karen Tuipulotu comes onto the field. We're also seeing Dane Blacker and Dane Blacker leave the field and replaced by Kieran Hardy, the man that people will remember from the Six Nations after his superb try against England, but I don't think we've seen him since. And another line-out lost by the Scarlets, and Babos at the back makes a lovely run into the 22. Matthew Screech takes his time, holds the ball up like a good centre-forward, and gets his pack around him. Moriarty, the next man, charging in, looking for meters. Wainwright with a lovely show and go and tries to get around the outside of Kasim, but doesn't quite make it. Sam Davis now looking to his back, so Jack Dixon is the next man taking it into contact. Good quick ball here from the Dragons, and I think they've got an overlap on the left-hand side if they can try and exploit that. Sam Davis bringing his forwards onto him, Ben Carter making a few meters. Again, Sam Davis, a lovely pass on the outside. Evan Lloyd, the next man, swirling into the tackle. They're not committing too many to the breakdown here, but unfortunately, too many men trying to keep hold of that, trying to take that ball there. And it has been turned over. So the Scarlets will look to get out of trouble here, whether they go for a kick. But they've made a few meters forward through Dav Hughes and Kieran Hardy with a nice box kick. And it goes into touch just short of the Scarlets' 10-meter line. So really nice phase play for the Dragons there. But again, a small little mistake where they could really... That could well have been the game there. I think, with 20 minutes to go, the Scarlets will still think they can get back into this, but if the Dragons manage to sink one or two of those opportunities, then it is definitely game over for me. As the boys in red have a joyous sit in the stands on this sunny afternoon. We just take a small break now before this line-out is taken. Aaron Jarvis delivering the call to Taylor Davis. He's had a good game, Taylor Davis. Really like the look of this guy as well. But another line-out is lost, but it's also given us not straight. So take whichever way you want. The Scarlets are getting the ball here. So it's scrum down to the Scarlets just inside their own half. Thank you for joining us today on the stream, guys. Okay, make sure that if you are joining us through Facebook that you like the page and give us a follow. Everything that comes up on YouTube will also come up on Facebook as well. So make sure that you are subscribed following on Facebook. And if you are watching with us on YouTube, make sure to like the channel, like the video even, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. 22 subs we hit yesterday, just after my side agonizingly lost against the Ospreys over on Brandon Smith's channel. But Scarlets looking to attack here, just going on the outside, well covered by Jonah Holmes, and he really killed that attack off there because they found a little bit of space out there on the wide left. Kasim, the next man to take the ball into contact. Kieran Hardy working out the best option, and Steph Evans drops it onto the boot. A bit of a waste of opportunity, wasted possession there. He's dropped the ball onto the boot, and it's just been reclaimed by the Dragons. And Sam Davis looks to put it in behind Angus O'Brien, who was up in the attacking line. Sam Costello, sorry. And a little bit of a hedge trimmer. Goes into touch and probably about 20 meters inside. So probably about 10 meters out from the Scarlets 22. The Dragons will have the throw into the line out. Sam Davis marshalling the troops, explaining what he wants from his back line. And we are set for the line out here. Well taken at the tail. Sam Davis drawing the man, and it's that man again. Jonah Holmes beats the fullback, and he's in under the post. First phase try. What a try that was. Sam Davis, take your hat off to you, because that was a lovely pass. Put Jonah Holmes into an absolute acre of space, and it was a simple job for him then to make his way around the fullback. So the Dragons extend their lead further still in this game. So we'll have to edit this scoreline again. But yeah, lovely off the tail. Babos into Sam Davis. Simple dummy run by Jack Dixon. Drew the defender onto him. And then that's all that Jonah Holmes had to do was step the covering defence of Johnny McNichol, and he was in. So yeah, missed tackle there, but Dav Hughes. It's actually Steph Evans who really should be doing better there. He makes no real attempt. He goes far too high. And for a man the size of Jonah Holmes and the ability that Jonah Holmes has, he's always going to get through you. And the conversion is a success. So the score is now 41 points to 22 in favour of the Dragons. This is the rugby we want to be seeing. This is what we want from the Pro 14. We, as fans, we've been asking for it for so long, and this afternoon the Dragons are delivering it by the bucket load. Really, really impressed with the Dragons this afternoon. Sam Davis, I mentioned him at the start, really working well with those players around him, putting people into spaces. But we still have around 17 minutes to go in this one as the Scarlets reclaim the kickoff just inside the Dragons' half. And they start to go through their forwards, try and build some momentum. I think Kasim knocked that ball on there, but the referee said that he hasn't made an attempt to pick the ball up. Ball is offloaded on the outside to Steph Evans, who tries to step around Jonah Holmes, doing his best to stay within the field of play. And now Kieran Hardy looks to get the backline moving. Kasim again carrying into contact. Quick ball to Costello. Tries to put his man through the hole. Lewis Rawlins has been held up there. And it has been turned over by the Dragons. So the Dragons will look to get out of their half here and try and cause some more problems. I think Jonathan Davis has got a rip there. Yep, it is a penalty to the Scarlets. Jonathan Davis got the rip there, and one of the Dragons players trying to handle the ball on the floor, trying to return it back to their side. So, again, very, very back and forth at points in this game, but now we're seeing the Dragons pull away a little bit. The Scarlets really have to try and find a way back into this game if they've got any chance of getting anything out of it. They've got 3 tries, so they'll be hoping for a 4th to get the bonus point. Who knows how important they will be in terms of this Rainbow Cup format. But Costello kicks it nicely into the corner, and I think they're going to set up a line out about 5 or 6 meters away from the Dragons' line. It's actually bang on the 5 meter line, so it's a great kick from Costello. Blade Thompson and Karen Tuipulotu walking in, observing where the Dragons players are placed as this line out is prepared to be thrown in. It's claimed down at the front by Jake Ball. And trying to set up the maul, moving a little bit side to side at the moment, but it's getting some good shape now, and the players are starting to come back around as they start to drive forward. Kieran Hardy, he's happy with the amount of players that are in there, and he offloads to Jonathan Davis. Great carry forward, nice and straight and hard. Kieran Hardy with a little snipe. Ran out of options a little bit there. Don't think there was anybody really there to help him there. A great carry is made by Dav Hughes. Forwards trying to organise which one of them is going to be the next person to carry it forward. And a penalty given to the Scarlets. So that's 2 penalties in quick succession against the Dragons now. They need to be careful giving penalties away in this area of the field. Kasim taps it quick and carries it into contact. Kieran Hardy marshalling the forwards around him. Jake Ball, the next man, aiming for that try line. There's a player that's stuck in there, and I think that this could be trouble here. I think Wainwright was the man there that couldn't get out. But the Scarlets will look for more in the meantime. Kieran Hardy going from side to side. The next man carrying forward is... can't really see that actually. But we go to Sam Costello looking to put a man through the hole there. but the penalty has been given. The referee has stopped the clock here because he's definitely got to have a chat to the Dragons captain here. He's having a little chat. Wainwright lost the moustache now. Wainwright, the blade that it was, beautiful thing, but it has gone. And referee telling him there that it looks like they're on their last warning. Carwyn Tuipulotu taps the ball from a few meters out to get the game restarted from the penalty. I love to see that back in the game now, that players are tapping and running as opposed to taking scrums or lineouts. Jake Ball, the next man, another abrasive carry from him. Kasim, his carry figures must be astronomical for this game. He's made so many carries. Next man through there, Kieran Hardy offloads to Costello, round the back to McNichol, and it's a try for Steph Evans back on the inside. Lovely for McNichol there, drifted to the outside and allowed the space for Steph Evans to drop in just behind him. So the Scarlets have a try and maybe a way back into this game. So let's update that for you. 41 points to 27 with the conversion to come. We are being spoiled this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What a fantastic game of rugby we've had to watch today. And Sam Costello has had quite a good game, I will say, for him. You know, it was a big game for him to stand up and be counted. But a good opportunity here for him to try and draw that gap a little closer from the touchline. And the breeze pushes that one out a little wide. So it remains 41 points to 27. As we head in to the final 11 or so minutes of this game. Been really, really enjoyable one, this one. Really have enjoyed it, and it's been a fantastic game. Steph Evans playing fantastically well. Potentially one of the players that Pivac might have been looking at today going on that summer tour, because we would assume that Josh Adams would be going as one of the potential wing options. George North, should he be fit, he's more than likely to go. And, you know, who can forget Louis Rees-Zammit could potentially be going on a Lions tour this summer. But that obviously leaves some spaces in the national side. Could they look to the players like Steph Evans, Johnny McNichol, or will they look for the new talent coming through? You know, Rio Dyer has looked electric this afternoon. Perhaps they might want to have a little look at him, but who knows the approach they'll take. Kieran Hardy's box kick is half charged down, but it is collected by Kasim, so no harm done there. As they set up and look to get out of trouble here. Just outside their 22, Werner Krier carries in the ball. Just to mention on him that he will be leaving at the end of the season, going back to South Africa. And the time he spent here in Wales playing for the Scarlets has been a fantastic servant, playing week in, week out for them. But Dan Baker is on now for the Dragons, and he carries the ball into contact. And good carrying there by Matthew Screech. Makes a good few meters there and gets the Dragons really on the front foot. Ben Carter, the next man, carrying forward and making good meters. And Jack Dixon spirals out of a tackle nicely there. And Babos, I will say, Babos, he's got a real nice speed to his pass, and he likes to get the game moving quite quickly. As long as our ball's there for him, he's getting it out. A lot of Dragons out here on this left-hand side, so how will they look to exploit? It has been intercepted by Johnny McNichol, and he's in, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, looks as though he fell on the ball there, but it looks as though we have another try. You knocked my statue over then. So excited. Great finish there by Johnny McNichol. Great pair of heels he showed there to get that finish over the line. And it is now 41 points to 32. This game is not over yet. Are we looking at this one at all? No. Yep, they were just having a look to double check whether he had full control of the ball as he went down, but he definitely did. So, Scarlets have another try in quick succession, and with 9 minutes to go, this conversion could, you know, at this moment in time, they are 9 points behind. This could put them a converted score from bringing the game level. So the Dragons will be starting to panic here. This is Very reminiscent of the game against Northampton Saints just under a month ago. I hope, for the love of God, that we don't see a finish like that, because the Dragons definitely do need the result out of this game today. And Sam Costello, the flags stay down, so the Dragons will breathe a sigh of relief that it remains as a 2-score game. But looking to force that pass on the outside there, I did mention they did have an overlap. They were around 3 or 4 players over on that left-hand side, but the high floaty pass was picked off by Johnny McNichol, and he gallops away to score the try. So 41 points to 32. Sam Davis slowly edging up towards the halfway line. At this point, I don't think the Dragons will look too much to extend their lead, but they will look to make sure they maintain what they have. A 2-score game with 8 minutes to go. But the kickoff is not collected very well, and Karen Tuipulotu has to go back for that one. And a penalty for the Dragons on the 5-meter line. Scarlets having to go off their feet to try. Oh, no. Yeah, sorry, he's giving it for holding on. But the Dragons were off their feet. The Scarlets even were off their feet as well. But a penalty, 5 meters out. It is a 2-score game. So would you imagine that they take a scrum option here? That bouncing ball has been a problem all afternoon for both sides. But, yeah, holding on there. Scarlets boys sealing it off, trying to protect that ball, not doing it so legally. And it is a penalty to the Dragons. Now, I'm not sure what they're doing exactly there. They've gone to the corner, so they go to the line out. And we are set up here, ready. He's gone into Ben Carter, who's had another really, really good game, putting his hand up as one of the potential replacements in the Welsh squad. The line out has been collapsed, so the referee has his arm out for an advantage. But a break made on the outside there by young Rhys Lawrence. Referee's given it as held up, however, due to the fact that he was playing advantage. We haven't got to go to the new rule of the end of the post dropout. It is still a penalty to the Dragons. So will they go to another line out here, or will they take a scrum, or maybe even just tap and run like we saw the Scarlets do a few moments ago? Great to see everybody in the chat. Nice to see you here. Welcome along. If you're with us on Facebook, make sure to like and follow the page. Doing really, really well. We just hit 100 followers on the Facebook page. So make sure to do that. And if you are with us on YouTube, welcome as well. We just hit 22 subscribers this weekend. So if you are new, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as we move forward this year with a lot of exciting content coming and a lot of exciting projects in the making. But the Dragons have set up another driving line out, and it is a try for Aaron Wainwright, who gets his second of the game. That's right. Yep, his second try of the game. Goodness me, this scoreboard. I've had to change it so many times this afternoon, but that pretty much kills the game off now. 46 points to 32. It was a good driving line out. Splintered slightly, and the majority of the Scarlets players were beyond the ball, but Wainwright did well. He wriggled out of it and thumps that ball down on the turf at Rodney Parade to give the Scarlets a 14-point lead. He's played really, really well this afternoon, Wainwright, in terms of his ability to carry the ball but put players into space as well. Him and Moriarty have worked really, really well together this afternoon. It's been really good to see. But Sam Davis now lining up the conversion from a few meters out from the touchline, just outside the 22, looking to really seal this game off. Gets the chip out, and he's missed it. Again, not a great afternoon off the tee for Sam Davis. If he'd have got all of his kicks, I think they'd have been well over 50 points by now. So disappointed from that aspect, but 46 points to 32 as we go into the final 5 minutes of this game. Any more tries for us this afternoon? I hope so. Absolutely loving this at the moment. So the kickoff has gone out on the full from Costello. So option taken. Oh, it's Angus O'Brien, sorry, that has kicked the ball out on the full. So we are taking the opportunity here to go for a scrum at centre field. At this point, they'll be having a little look at man of the match. For me, it's got to be someone on the Dragons side, just because they've managed the game so well this afternoon. I think you could look at Sam Davis. I think other than his kicking, he's played really, really well today. Put players in space and unlocked the back line. Really like the look of Rio Dyer as well. Really elusive. But for me, I would say that my man of the match today is Jonah Holmes. I wonder if the pundits at Premier Sport will agree with me, the Tom Shanklin and Sean Holly. But for me, yeah, Jonah Holmes is my man of the match for this game today. Could have been Moriarty or Wainwright as well, but I think just because of the way this game has been played and the expansiveness, the player that Jonah Holmes has been this afternoon really has been the difference. You know, his ability to beat the man at the tackle, look for space, and look to support others as well. So we set up on the halfway line for another scrum, the first one being given as a free kick to the Dragons. And they will look to set up another scrum just here. Dan Babos ready to insert the ball into the scrum. We've gone down and it is a penalty to the Dragons. So opportunity to have one last throw of the dice, dig the ball deep into Scarlet territory and try and get one more try to push them up over 50 points, which, my gosh, if you're a Dragons fan watching this afternoon, you've got to be happy. Really, really impressive afternoon from the boys in black. He's going for the posts. Interesting. Don't really understand that decision, considering you are 14 points in the lead. And I don't think in 2.5 minutes the Scarlets are going to score 3 converted tries. But nonetheless, Sam Davis lining up from exactly on the halfway line. He must feel that the breeze is behind him because this is surely out of his range. But as he comes up, strikes it well. It's a low one. And it's over. So, finding his form towards the end, Sam Davis puts the Dragons 49 points to 32 ahead. And we're going into the 78th minute of this game as they restart the ball here. The ball is reclaimed by the Dragons. And a good exit here. Evan Lloyd with a lovely kick in behind, finding... Yep, and the punditry side have agreed with me that Jonah Holmes has been named as the man of the match. So well done to me. But Blade Thompson running up the outside here. Lovely offload inside to Steph Hughes, who's ducking and diving out of tackles, trying to find some yards. And Nyron Owen, though, he gets in on that ball. That's all he had at the start was one hand on that ball. And he does really, really well there to turn that ball over. He's another one that's impressed me today. Really like the look of him and the way that he has played this game. But another penalty to the Dragons. And with just over a minute or so left on the clock, you would say that that's pretty much the done deal. Sam Davis puts the ball into touch around the 10-metre line of the Scarlets half. And we were set up for probably what will be the last attack of the game. With just under a minute left on the clock. But thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, guys. Anyway, if you are here, we'll just see out the last minute or so together now. But it really means a lot that you came to join us this afternoon. We're doing a lot more of these, especially as we move into the summer with the Welsh Tour, the remainder of the Rainbow Cup, and obviously the Lions Tour in the summer as well. So make sure to subscribe to both the Facebook page and to the YouTube channel, because we've got some big stuff coming our way. But another penalty now. The Scarlets really running out of ideas now on what they are actually supposed to be doing. Steph Hughes has gone down here. Looks like he's picked up a little knock there. Johnny McNichol giving the obligatory tap on the belly as if to say, yep, you'll be all right. But looks as though it's something to do with his ankle potentially. But Dean Ryan, fist bumps all around in the Dragons coaching box. A job well done. And I think looking forward to next week, the Blues will take on the Dragons down at the Arms Park, and they will be nervous because this Dragons side looked very, very impressive this afternoon. And for me, the Blues have got it all to do this week. You know, I know the Blues went out with an experimental side yesterday, but that being said, there were still lots of big names in that team. Lots of potential in that game, and it just did not deliver on any level whatsoever. Pivac, I think he'll be happy with what he's seen this afternoon as a rugby enthusiast. Lots of running rugby, lots of great tries being scored. And likewise, Gethin Jenkins, you know, I think he's really started to impart his style of defence on this Welsh side now. Sam Davis again going for the post, using this as a little bit of kicking practice now. just to push it out over 50 points. And this will be, I believe, the last act of the game. As he strikes the ball, it is over. And with that, the final whistle blows. So the final score here at Rodney Parade is Dragons 52, Scarlets 32. What a game of rugby. What a fantastic spectacle to watch. 52-32, tries across the board. We'll have a quick look now at the full-time stats and see how they read, because I'm pretty sure that it will be a very, very happy reading for Scarlet fans. So let's have a little look at the full-time stats. So, like we see there, 7 tries to 5, 12 in all. Wonderful, wonderful game to watch. But let's have a look at the stats. So, 57% possession in the end, proving effective for the Dragons. They did really, really well throughout that game to keep hold of the ball at times and making 16 line breaks to the Scarlets 6. Defenders beaten very, very high as well. Scarlets trying to play a little bit more an offloading game, but not necessarily working in this game. In terms of territory, the Dragons game was simple. Play it in the Scarlets half and put pressure on them, making slightly less tackles and getting that tackle percentage up overall at 85%. The kick-in, quite even on the kicking side, and kicking success out of hand at 100%. That number at the end, I thought it would have been a little bit higher than that, but at the end, 11 penalties costing the Scarlets, especially at the end, with those 2 late penalties from Sam Davis from quite a considerable way out. So, 2 tries for Steph Evans on the day, and 17 points from the boot of Sam Davis as our leading point scorers. Getting 2 tries apiece, Steph Evans and Jonah Holmes. Really like the look of Jonah Holmes today. Usman Kasim, 15 carries in this game. He has been a fantastic signing for the Scarlets. If we look at his stats from this game, can't even see it. Great website. So, yep, great work from Kasim in that game there. Let's just have a little look at some of the individual stats. Jonah Holmes beating 11 defenders, and Dane Blacker as well. He was another one that really, really looked threatening around the base of the ruck. Jonah Holmes with 106 meters gained through his long runs that he made today. And, yeah, fantastic. Taylor Davis leading the defense side for the Dragons. So the wrong side there, making 16 tackles. And Sam Costello making 13 tackles as well, getting really heavily involved. 2 turnovers apiece for Aneurin Owen and Jake Ball. For me, this man, Aneurin Owen, is one to watch in the future. He played superbly well today, and he really has put his hand up moving forward next season and beyond. So that is it for the game today. 52 points to 32 in favour of the home side. It's been a fantastic game of rugby. Really, really enjoyable. And if you joined us for it, thank you very much for doing so. Have a very good weekend and enjoy the sunshine while it's here. And we will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.